Hey everyone, Mike McClelland. We're here at the Mississippi River in Winona, Minnesota, and we're here at the Spro Big Bite Sunline Riders Conference, and it's always cool to get in a boat with the folks from Tackle. I mean, having the opportunity to get out here for an hour, hour and a half, see what we can make happen is always fun. And you know, it's a short period of time, but we're gonna get out here. There's a lot of current on the Mississippi River. We're gonna throw a rock crawler, may mix it up with a few other baits. Don't have a lot of time to do it, but let's see what we can get done. Supposed to bite when a train comes by and shakes a crawfish out of the rocks. There's a sweet spot somewhere, I just don't know where it's at yet. Must have been right there. It ain't very big though. Yeah, there's always something about fishing these rivers when those trains come by. I honestly feel like that it actually does shake things up and kick crawfish out from the rocks and stuff. I don't know how many times I've been fishing down one of these sections of the river and a train comes by, and I don't care if you're swimming a jig or throwing a crankbait, it just seems like you get bit when a train comes by. Little dude just wouldn't give up. One thing about it, when you come to the Mississippi River, you're going to catch a lot of smallmouth. Big or small, they're going to eat something. Legal release. It'll blow your mind how many smallmouth live on these freaking sandbars like this though. It's just somewhere on this sandbar there is a school of them. People like Seth Fighter understand it more than I do. I mean, it's just like, just little bitty sand drops usually. You know, there'll be a, and it could be right there below where that bird's at is where they're at. I mean, they just key on little current rips and sand drops, and it's crazy how shallow these fish can get. I mean, so often you throw up there where you can see the bottom and you come off that little bitty lip and they get it. Where are the big ones? The little ones like that rock crawler today. It's that new color, Ozark crawl. Man, they gotta get bigger. Got to get bigger. That's one thing about it. I mean, when you fish the Mississippi River, I mean, there are tons of smallmouth in this place. And I mean, you'll fish and fish and fish and catch a bunch of these, you know, fish that are not even keepers. And then all of a sudden you hit that right stretch of one of these banks. I mean, it could just have a little bit more rock. It could have a better drop, or, you know, sometimes it's got more sand. But they will pile up on these stretches. And the thing I like about the rock crawler for this is the fact that that bait dives so deep so quick. You know, these fish typically are trying to get, they want to be close to the current, but they want to be out of the current. And when you're making cast right up against the bank, you want to get that bait down quick. I mean, a lot of these banks, I mean, this is just a river channel bank. I mean, we're sitting in 12, 13 foot of water right here. And when you throw that bait up there against the bank, you want it to get down quick, and that's the reason I like the rock crawler for this kind of fishing. Probably the biggest thing about, you know, the Mississippi River, I mean, once you get past that post-spawn period, these fish want to be in the current or close to the current. When I say these fish, I'm talking about smallmouth. I mean, the largemouth are going to stay in closer to the backwaters. They're going to stay in the more protected areas, but the smallmouth want to get out here in the current, and they want to get in the strongest current they can find, but they'll be in those little eddies, and that's what makes catching them on a rock crawler so much fun here is just being able to cover a lot of water, catching a ton of fish, and like I said, eventually you're going to run across the right ones that make the difference at the end of the day. I mean, if you're just out here playing, it's fun to catch them. Other thing that's real key, I mean, the current's just strong enough right now that I can't fish against it. I mean, if I really wanted to burn my batteries, I could do it, but the thing that's key is I want to fish my bait with the current flow. I don't want to throw downriver and bring my bait back upriver. I always want to bring that bait with the current flow. So, you know, basically I'm just slipping down this bank. I'm throwing upriver, pulling it off that little rock lip, and varying the speed a lot. You know, that's one thing a lot of guys make a mistake when they're throwing a crankbait that dives like this one, is they don't put a lot of added action into it. And even a bait like this that has so much built-in action, you want to stop it and pop it and move that rod to make that bait do different things to trigger bites. There's a better one. I mean, right on the bank. Switched colors on them though, didn't I? Oh, and it's the wrong kind, that would figure. Oh, drummer. But if you're into catching drum, good old Spro RkCrawler will get it done. Nasty things. Hear him grunting at you. I tell you what, I don't care how long I've fished, anytime something is pulling on my string, it's fun. Oh, they fight all right. Get me right under the boat. You know, that's the other thing about this rock crawler that makes it such an effective bait is I don't know how many bass I catch on this thing when it's not on the bottom. You know, so many other crankbaits you feel like if you're not digging and grinding, you're not gonna catch that many fish on them. But this rock crawler, I mean, I catch a ton of suspended fish on it. Just, it's got that hunt, and then all of a sudden it does this on them and they come and get it. Might be one of my little secrets to table rock. A lot of guys get up there and set the boat in 10 to 13 foot of water and they're hitting the bottom all the time. A lot of time I'll set the boat out in 15, 18 foot of water, and a lot of the fish I catch is when the bait lifts out there. And every year we come here to La Crosse. Now we're not at La Crosse, but you come up here to the Mississippi River, especially on the La Crosse pool, there's somebody that makes the top 12 every year cranking Main River rock. And it's just an awesome way to get it done up here. Gotta be big ones up there somewhere. One of the big things when I'm fishing this kind of bank, and as you're going down the bank, you can actually, you know, you can see the little rips because of the duckweed or sometimes the grass and stuff in the water. But if you look right there, there's just a little place on that bank that kicks the current out a little bit, and there's just one little eddy right there, and that's a big key a lot of times. I mean, you might catch 4, 5, 6 fish out of one of those little eddies through the course of the day. Dadgummit, they gotta get bigger. We're getting a lot of bites, but we're just not catching the size we need to catch. You can see what I'm talking about right there's a perfect example of that little eddy. You can see all that duckweed just circling right there, and those are the kind of places that typically you'll get a bite down these banks. When I'm throwing a rock crawler, and really this is pretty basic setup for anywhere I'm going to fish it, whether I'm here on the Mississippi River or Table Rock or anywhere in the Midwest, I'm going to generally throw this bait on a 6:3:1 gear ratio reel. I'm going to throw it on a 7-foot 4-power Falcon cranker rod. It's the Cara series. I'm always going to be throwing that bait on anywhere from 10 to 14 pound Sunline FC crank. You know, for years we've used the reaction. The new FC crank is by far exceeds what the reaction does. So those are basic setups. I mean, the RkCrawler, 10 to 14 pound FC crank, 7'4" power Falcon Cara, and you can get it done. Be sure and like, share, and tag a friend for your chance to win this week's vlog prizes from Big Bite, Sunline, and Spro. There's one. Oh, it's freaking giant. Son! One more giant. Thought it was a better one. Damn it.